It's funny, the Messiah is one of those pieces that I think everyone thinks they know. And in a way you do. I grew up, I've never conducted a full Messiah. I've played harpsichord, continuo in one, so I knew the piece well. And I also grew up with a father and a sister who were in an oratorio society that did the Messiah every year. So I grew up hearing these choruses and really knowing every word and every note of them. And it's great to finally kind of get my hands on it myself and explore it and see how it feels from the standpoint of conducting it. I can't really pick one of my favorites because they all have something really special to communicate, whether that's something slower with a lot more weight or something just fast and bright, or of course the inimitable Hallelujah chorus. It runs the whole range of musical qualities in this piece. And so it would be impossible for me to pick one. I love them all. I think it's a masterpiece. The Messiah itself is a masterpiece. It's fascinating to me to look at how Baroque composers and contemporary composers are very similar in the way that music is constructed. And so if we look at, Bach, for example, it might take a little kernel, a little musical idea, or even rhythmic idea, and then take that and expand it into something of greater scope and breadth. That's the way that Baroque music is really constructed, right? With these ideas that then generate big things. And a piece like December by Michael Torke is exactly the same thing. So he starts off extremely simply with this very beautiful, very leggero, light motive that introduces a rhythm and a pitch structure. And then he just crafts this entire piece out of taking it and overlapping it and maybe inverting it and adding notes in between it, so it's got a little decoration, which is also something that Baroque composers love to do. I mean, Handel and Bach were both famous for doing that. When you look at the way the voice works, and it's based on breath. And that's a great thing to be thinking about orchestrally when you're working on getting something really legato and getting lots of spin in the sound and very, very long spun out lines. That's a very vocal kind of way to think. And so I love working with orchestras and really getting us thinking in that way, that everything is moving forward and based on breath. Because again, that's something that it doesn't matter if we're not singing with our voice. Breath is something that's very important to us, and it's something that's very important in an orchestra for them to play together and to blend, is to be really breathing together. I think the voice is a very powerful instrument because it's one of the most human things that we know. It's something that everyone has and everyone uses. And it's one of the first things we learn to use, right? Before we learned to play an instrument, we were speaking and we were singing. And it's such a base level form of communication. So it's not just that it's communicating pitch, harmonies when we start layering it together, but it's also communicating text, which is another level above and beyond. To me, it's the best of both worlds when you combine an orchestra and voices.